Hi guys, this is Emma at the Vlog Lady, and today I'm going to do a quick reaction and recap of Legion Chapter 7, Episode 7. So I don't normally do a reaction video to Legion, but I just thought I would today because it's the penultimate episode of the first season and I thought something juicy might happen. Okay, so Carrie's being chased by Walter. I just realised the other day who she reminded me of, the character, and it's River from Firefly. She is a lot like that character, I think, in terms of she's tough and yet she's vulnerable. Jeez, a close-up of the devil with the yellow eyes was a bit much.
I don't know what that means. It's when you set the clock. I thought we were literally saving daylight.
He connected with David and now he has connected with Carrie, and I just wondered why he wasn't able to connect with Melanie in the same way so far. And this perhaps explains why, because he can't seem to remember Melanie.
Intimate recollection of one night. All right then. Then the next question is how?
So I'm not murdered when I wake up.
She's pretty
Are we
smart.
good?
Have I seen you before? At the poetry slam?
That's kind of sad, isn't it? What's going on here? I don't know.
I went to live with my
This
other.
is fascinating the way they're doing it. The chalkboard, and
Somehow.
really great. What the fuck? She looks like a puppet. Some kind of demonic puppet. This is gross. Oh god, that's like gross. Walter has just been squished.
You left me. I needed you and you left me.
Oh, that headband? I know. Me, not so good. Third degree. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I thought that was a really great episode. Actually, probably the best episode so far of Legion. And I thought the acting was great throughout, especially by Dan Stevens and by Aubrey Plaza as well. She was demented in that, and I liked the fact that Dan Stevens got to speak in a British accent, and he seemed very different in those two parts, and it made you realise what a great actor he actually is to be able to do that. I found this episode visually compelling. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I especially loved the bit where David was in the fake classroom and all the chalk graphics were going on. That was so clever and really well done. I haven't seen anything like that before in a TV show. It felt much more like movie quality. From start to finish, it looked fantastic. Every scene, I mean, it just looks like they must have spent so long on the episode designs and on the CGI. I mean, I don't even know what it is. I thought in the first episode that I watched of Legion that it looked a bit corny, the CGI and stuff. But now, I mean, I've never seen anything like that. It looked fantastic. I was very pleased to see Oliver Bird again. I think he is my favourite character, actually. He's hilarious. He's coming across as someone, even though he has memory problems, that he is quite flaky anyway, I think. And the things he says and does are a little bit removed from the norm. Regardless of whether he can remember or not, I think he is himself. I thought that was very sad that he couldn't remember Melanie, but then towards the end of the episode he seemed to be like connecting with her again and perhaps starting to fall in love anew. I was really surprised by Kerry's reaction to Carrie at the end. I know that she was very tormented and that she felt very vulnerable when being chased by Walter and in the fake hospital, but I just didn't expect her to turn on Carrie. It's probably just a knee-jerk reaction to her emotional trauma, but I felt bad for Carrie because he perhaps didn't realise just how much she does need him, just how much of a lasting effect it would have on Carrie to undergo some kind of trauma like that. So we discover who the yellow-eyed demon is, and the fact that they can identify him, her, it, made the creature, the parasite, seem even more disturbing and even more powerful and even more of a threat. That it has this reputation. I mean, you saw Carrie's face when he was told that it was the Shadow King. His face just crumpled. He was terrified. I think that told you everything you needed to know about the Shadow King and his potential. We got a pretty thorough explanation about how the Shadow King came to be living in David. I like that segment when David was figuring it all out for himself. I know now who David's father is in the X-Men universe, and although I didn't when the show first started, but when he was talking about his father and also speaking in his father's voice, I kind of thought that he was actually doing Patrick Stewart's voice. I think for me, because I didn't know about the Shadow King before the series started, that it was a different experience to those who know the comics and know the story. For me, it's like finding out who a villain is for the first time. I do think that some of the things in this episode seem to assume that audiences were already familiar with the comics and the X-Men and Marvel universe. But I also think they explained it well enough so that people like me can enjoy the series and still understand what's going on. I gotta say, I have to say that death scene of Walter's, where he was crumpled into pieces, was one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. It truly was. Truly was. And I've sat through like a million slasher movies and that was horrific. And I got the feeling that that was just a little taste, a tiny little taste of what the demon with the yellow eyes is capable of. Sid was very assertive in this episode. I thought she really showed how clever and how confident she is now in her own ability, and her love for David seems to have made her into this strong, capable woman who is, you know, not afraid to do anything or to put herself in danger for a man that she really loves. So we saw toward the end of the episode the team were returning to Summerland, and David had that halo on his head to separate the Shadow King from David's mind. But it wasn't quite functioning correctly. It was sort of like an old computer, sort of a bit flickering on and off. We saw Division 3 appear, surround the team, and they appeared to be in a position where they needed to kill them. At which point we saw inside of David's mind, and we shot to Lenny inside of her mental coffin, the same way that David was earlier. And I kind of wonder if this means that David actually needs Lenny, or the Shadow King, to be able to kill Division 3. So I did wonder if he would perhaps remove the halo even after all of that, just so that he could use Lenny's power as well as his own to escape that. I really don't know. I get the feeling that Aubrey Plaza has been so great in this role that she's probably not going to be a character that the show wants to get rid of. I think she's synonymous with the Shadow King now. I would expect to see her in season 2. I love that David was actually in control for the first time. It was still a struggle to be in control, but he was managing, and he was able to rationalize things and able to think logically. His own powers seem to be equal to those of the Shadow King. So much of this season has been trying to figure out what's going on with David's mind. I just wondered where future seasons might go in terms of storytelling, because once we figured out what David is, who he is, what he can do, who he really is without the Shadow King, what kind of thing will we see? Will we still be taken to the astral plane in future episodes? Will we be inside people's minds? Because I feel like we've spent a lot of time in imaginary places this season, and even though it's been fantastic, I just can't see that going on and on. I'm excited to see where the next episode goes, because actually I thought this felt like a finale episode. And finale episodes are usually more jam-packed with action and drama than any other episode in the series, so I expect more of the same next week. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching today. If you like Legion, you can subscribe to my channel. You can also leave a comment below to tell me what you thought of the episode. And that's all. Bye.